All right, I'm LQ. This is the LQ Review, back with another ranking list for you. So it's no secret, my favorite movie of all time is Jaws. I think Jaws is a phenomenal movie, and it just gets better with age. Jaws is so good, and and it is easily the best movie in its genre. The genre being killer shark movies, shark attack movies. So we're going to do a ranking list of the top 25 killer shark movies ever, understanding that Jaws is going to be number one because Jaws is my all-time favorite movie. So let's get rid of this anticipation. Jaws is it. Jaws is number one. All right. Now let's talk about 25 through 2. At number 25 is Malibu Shark Attack. All right, so let's understand also. Most of the movies on this list, until you get to the top few, are some of them are bad movies. Some of them are so bad they're good. All right, so don't Malibu Shark Attack. Don't nobody run around saying LQ loves Malibu Shark Attack. All right, no. It just I decide on top 25. And there's like 30 Shark Attack movies. All right. So Malibu Shark Attack number 25. This is the one with the goblin sharks. The tsunami comes in, floods the beach area, and the goblin sharks, the ones with the big nose, they come out and they start attacking people. Really stupid. Number 24, Deep Blue Sea 2. All right, this is one I was actually anticipating quite a bit, it being a sequel to one of my favorite shark movies. And then it came out, and all my happiness left my body while I was watching it. Not a good movie. Very little to do with the original, and just didn't make any sense. Not that the original made sense, to be honest with you, but the original at least sold it. This one just didn't make any sense at all. So, Deep Blue Sea Part 2 is number 24. 23, Jurassic Shark. Alright, so Jurassic Shark is basically just a big shark movie. It's a movie about a big shark that eats people. They go to there's a heist, and they end up getting away with their loot, and they escape to this island where there is also a research facility, mad scientist, yada yada yada. But the loot ends up at the bottom of the ocean. Might even be a lake. I don't remember. But the loot ends up at the bottom, and they keep sending people out to get the loot, and people keep dying. And the most unbelievable character in the movie is the leader of the bad guys, who is this horrible actress. Not a good movie, but I couldn't take my eyes off of it. It was such a train wreck. And the special effects were like something I could have done right here in my own studio. It was horrible. But again, horrible in a way where I couldn't take my eyes off of it. So number 23 is Jurassic Shark. 22 is the first Sharknado. It's the only Sharknado movie on the list. I can't stand these movies. But the first one had this bit of a charm to it that I actually laughed. And I realized that the Sharknado laughs are intentional. So it's all good, right? It's all good. It had a bit of charm to it. I didn't like any of the others. It just got... Not that Sharks in a Tornado was never silly, but it just got too silly for me. So number 22 is Sharknado. 21, Swamp Shark. That's the one with Kristy Swanson. One-time rising actress who is now relegated to be shark movies. But it's nice to have a name in these movies. Somebody you can get behind. Swamp Shark wasn't horrible. It was a generic shark movie set in a swamp. Horrible special effects, but again, entertaining enough that I watched it. Number 20, Spring Break Shark Attack. All right, so this one's weird. This one is 95% Spring Break movie, 5% Shark Attack movie. For some reason, though, I walked away from the movie and I was like, I didn't hate it. So that's what gets it number 20 on the list. Is I walked out and I was like, I didn't hate it. I guess I got a soft spot for Spring Break comedies. And this one definitely tried to be a spring break comedy with the occasional shark attack sprinkled in here and there. So Spring Break Shark Attack, number 20. Not a whole lot of shark in it, not a whole lot of attack in it, but not too bad, though. Not good. Not good, but not too bad. Number 7. All right. I didn't know that this movie existed till this last December. And once I found out that it existed, I made it a priority to watch. This is a movie. It's a real movie in the world today. Santa Jaws. That's right, Santa Jaws, a movie about a shark in a Santa hat stalking its prey. Santa Jaws. That's all I'm going to say. That's not all I'm going to say. Horrible. Just horrible. You're going to hate it. Everybody in this world who watches my review and sees he puts Santa Jaws at number 19, better than Deep Blue Sea 2, it can't be that bad, right? The only reason I rated it that high is because it is that bad. That's the only reason. It is that bad. So when a movie's that bad, you gotta respect the fact that they went for it and allowed it to be that bad. That's all I'll say. A shark in a Santa Claus hat. Alright, number 18, Mega Shark vs. Giant Octopus. They made a number of the Mega Shark movies. This is the original one, and it's the only one that I really had some sort of enjoyment for. Again, not good. Completely ridiculous. But when I watched it, I just kind of took in all the ridiculousness, all the B-level goofiness, and just kind of enjoyed it for what it was. Mega Shark vs. Giant Octopus. Number 9. Sorry, not number 9. Number 17. Number 17 is one of the worst movies ever made, by the way. Most people agree this is one of the worst movies ever made. Jaws: The Revenge. That's how bad numbers 18 through 25 was. That Jaws: The Revenge is number 17. All right. Number 16, Ocean of Fear. This is a Shark Week movie about the USS Indianapolis. It's actually a rather solid telling of this story. It's better than the one with Nicolas Cage. If you don't know about the story of the USS Indianapolis, Google it, check it out. But Ocean of Fear, that was actually quite good. So we're actually getting into some decent movies now. Number 15, Open Water 3. So Open Water was a good shark movie. Open Water 2 had nothing to do with sharks. There wasn't a shark in the movie, I don't think. It's been a while since I've seen it. Open Water 3 was kind of a take on 47 Meters Down. You had the cage diving, the boat sinks, and then you got the people in the water getting eaten by sharks. Wasn't horrible. It wasn't a horrible little movie. I enjoyed it for what it was. I maybe should have put Ocean of Fear and Open Water 3. I maybe should have flip-flopped them. But I think depending on what day I'm looking at it, those could be interchangeable. Open Water 3 was definitely your prototypical direct-to-video shark movie with bad special effects, bad acting, and lots of CGI blood. But the premise was good. Number 14, Red Water. This is the one with Lou Diamond Phillips and Coolio with the bull shark. This one was kind of one of the trendsetters in straight-to-video shark movies. They attempted to take it seriously. It wasn't serious. It was silly. It was goofy. But you could tell that the attempt was there to make a legitimate shark movie. So I respected that. That's number 14. Number 13 is Shark Night, also known as Shark Night 3D. This is the one with the teenagers, took the trip out on the lake, and they realized that somebody had been putting a bunch of deadly sharks into the lake, and they all get picked off one by one. Silly movie, but there's some good stuff in this movie. The cookie cutter shark scene was really good, and the scene with the boy who goes into the water to kill a shark, and he ends up killing a giant hammerhead. That was a lot of silly fun. All right, this was a movie that attempted to take the shark premise seriously, and the deeper they got into the movie, the more it fell off the rails. But I had fun with it. Number 12 is Jaws 3, also known as Jaws in SeaWorld. Also known as Jaws 3D. All right. So again, the premise was interesting. Jaws in SeaWorld. But the execution lacked, and the special effects lacked. You know, it was filmed in 3D, and watching it in 2D, it just doesn't work. So, and you've got, a bunch of things popping out at the screen, and when you're watching it in 2D, it's like, what is this? So, it's a Jaws movie, right? So, I'm down, but really poor execution with a really interesting idea. Number 11, Blood in the Water. This is a true story about the story that inspired Jaws, the New Jersey shark attacks of 1916. All right, and number 10, 12 Days of Terror, is another take on that story. And actually, I read the book 12 Days of Terror when I was in college. I wrote my senior thesis paper when I was getting my history degree. I have a degree in history. When I was getting my history degree, I wrote my senior thesis paper on the Jersey shark attacks of 1916. And the book 12 Days of Terror chronicled that. And the movie is an adaptation of that. An extremely loose adaptation, by the way. The way it happened in the movie was not very accurate at all. But it was nice that they chronicled the true story in a movie. And that was number 10. Number 9, 47 Meters Down. This was a movie that had a really good premise that fell apart in the last act for me. But, decent enough acting, good special effects, a fun shark movie. That, like I said, it fell apart at the end. Number 8, Bait, also known as Bait 3D. This is one where a tsunami comes in, floods a town, and some people take refuge in a shopping center that has been flooded out. They get on top of the shelves, and they realize that there's some great white sharks lurking through the aisles. This sounds really silly, but it actually worked. This is a pretty straight shark movie that doesn't play it. It plays it for laughs some, but it pretty much plays it for scares too. So for the most part, this movie worked. Number 7, Deep Blue Sea. One of the top shark movies ever made for sure. You've got some classic scenes in this. So Samuel L. Jackson's speech. You got LL Cool J in it. You've got Thomas Jane in it. Solid little shark movie. Really silly. You can't necessarily buy any of the science behind it or anything that's happening in it. But they played it for scares. And more times than not, it didn't work. But it did sometimes. So Deep Blue Sea is a worthy shark movie. That's number 7. Number 6 is the most recent one, The Meg, with Jason Statham. I still believe Jason Statham was pretty miscast in this movie. But overall, the movie worked, and the special effects were phenomenal. So The Meg is a really fun B shark movie that doesn't really play it for scares. It plays it more for the adventure, but I would check it out because I had a lot of fun with it, and it ended up being a pretty good hit. They're going to make a sequel to it. So The Meg is number 6. Number 5 is Open Water, loosely based on a true story of 2 divers that get abandoned in the ocean, and they are never found again. This one was scary. There's a lot of scary stuff in this, just the psychology behind it. Psychological terror. Open Water is a very good shark movie. At least the first time you watch it. The impact might wear off the more you watch it. I know it has for me, but that first time you watched it, it's a very tense, impactful shark movie. Number 4 is Jaws 2. Jaws 2 played mostly like a slasher movie. You got a bunch of teenagers who go out on the ocean on a sailing trip. The shark disables their ships, and they're floating there disabled, and he starts picking them off one by one. It was a slasher movie on the water, but it was a very worthy sequel to Jaws. A very worthy sequel. Chief Brody is back. Lorraine Gary is back as his wife Ellen. You've got some great some great tenseful moments with the shark. The shark ends up getting burnt across its face in the first part of its movie, and you've got this scarred shark the rest of the movie. Jaws 2 is a good underrated sequel. I tell you, Jaws 2 is a good movie. Number 3, The Shallows, the one with Blake Lively. Not a very high body count in this movie, but very suspenseful, very tense, great special effects. The last act, falls apart a little bit when she finally decides to fight back. The way that she ends up dispatching the shark, didn't really buy it, but the whole movie is just tense, suspenseful, edge of your seat type stuff. The Shallows works as a shark movie, and Blake Lively sold it. It was all on her shoulders on whether or not it was going to work, and she sold it, and The Shallows worked. Number 2 is The Reef. The Reef is probably it is the second scariest shark movie behind Jaws. The Reef is terrifying in parts. Absolutely terrifying. These people are out on a ship. They end up running it onto a reef, and they know that they're going to sink, and they have to swim to shore, which is 12 miles away, and they start getting followed by a great white shark. The Reef is horrifying. So check that one out. And then number 1. And then number 1 is Jaws, not just the best shark movie of all time, in my opinion, the best movie of all time. Fantastic movie. The the first act is at Amity Island, and then the final act takes you out to the ocean where these three men have this duel against the shark, this duel against nature, and man, Jaws is so great. And I'm sure that most of you have probably seen it, but revisit it. Revisit Jaws because it's that good. Uh, all right, I'm LQ. This is the LQ review, and that was my top 25 shark movie list. What do you think? Did I get it completely wrong? Let me know in the comments down below. And as always, thank you for joining me here where we talk about all the nerdy, geeky stuff that us nerds and geeks love to talk about. We'll see you next time.